I know as a consumer, if I go onto a website and I read something, and maybe it makes sense, but the sentences are short, I can kind of tell that this sounds very robotic. This doesn't sound like a human wrote it. And that's gonna make me think, okay, if a human didn't really write this or put any effort into this, are they gonna put any effort into helping me? Am I gonna get a human to actually help me with my problems?
Welcome back to another episode of the Mission Control Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Stearns with Ascend Digital. Shout out to the team at Roofer. Y'all are great. Appreciate y'all making this happen. And guys, if you need, really anything, if you want to talk to great people, you want proposals, instant roof quotes, roof measurements, some or all of the above, just click the link down in the description. You'll be happy that you did. We've got a very special guest today. Y'all in for a treat. Ashley, say hi.
Hi, Mike.
No, say hi to them.
Oh, hi.
Yeah. So Ashley has been with the team over 2 years now, and she's really responsible for bringing together all the content and making sure the content that we're creating for our clients is of superior quality, and it's going to help people rank on Google. And for that, I am eternally grateful, Ashley. It's been a minute. You blink an eye, 2 years goes by.
I know.
Yeah.
A lot can happen.
Mm-hmm. We had our holiday dinner last night. It was delicious. Mm-hmm. I overate once again. I heard about it from my trainer, Justin, this morning. But I didn't get the Mile High cake, so that's good.
And they didn't have the stuffed peppers either.
They didn't have the stuffed peppers.
I know.
Buffalo Chop House, be better. It was really interesting, actually, because I'm sitting there hyping my team up. I'm like, you guys have to try these stuffed peppers. They're absolutely amazing. Otis from Paramount, when he came in, he had them, and he can substantiate this. Otis, make sure you drop a comment. But yeah, I'm getting everyone hyped up. I'm like, these stuffed peppers are almost like I'm like, I don't even like stuffed peppers. These are so good. You guys are gonna love them. Waiter comes over, James, and he says, well, we don't have them. That's okay. Anything else we should know about? Just kind of give him a hard time. He comes back 5 minutes later. He's like, all right, I talked to them. They said they got them. Big win, right? Yeah. Everyone's happy. Yeah. I'm like, all right, let's go. Then he comes back, just kidding. We really don't have them. I said, okay, well, where do we go from here? Yeah. I don't know. It was, but it was good. Food was good.
So good.
Yeah. I got the surf and turf. And what'd you end up getting?
I got some salmon.
And
it was very good. I was thoroughly impressed.
Yeah. So a little over 2 years. Let me ask you this. What initially piqued your interest about getting into this line of work, getting with Ascend? I want to hear it from you. What happened? What? Yeah,
so, I went to college for English and an English degree. I consider myself a big, word nerd in a way. I love to read. I love everything that has to do with words. And I wanted to put that towards something that would help people and that I would see actual tangible progress with. Yeah. So being able to join Ascend gave me the opportunity to use my words and word choice, because in Google Ads and Google ranking, word choice is very important. Yeah. So I'm able to use that to see our clients gain other customers and grow, and that's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I like what you said there. That makes a lot of sense. Specifically about use your words. My son just turned 1. His name's Everett, and we're really trying to work on using his words. Yeah. He's less receptive right now.
He's going to get there.
But progress over perfection. Yeah. He usually just screams at me, and I say, okay, well, I'll do what I can for you. But yeah, we're one step at a time. Yeah. It's one foot in front of the other. So it's important from what I would think as far as okay, let's make sure that we're writing good content, but let's also make sure that somebody who's reading it is not just going to click off the website, right? So walk us through your process as far as making sure that the content is technically correct, but also somebody who actually wants to read it and consume this content.
Yeah. So when I'm going through content before we put it out for consumers to see, one of the number one things I look for is, are we answering the question that they want answered? So the reason they're coming to our page anyways is because they're probably searching for something that brought us to our client's page in the first place. So is our content addressing what they are looking for right away? That's going to keep them on our page, first of all. Second of all, is it conversational? We're in the roofing industry, and I think there's a lot of terms within the roofing industry that people don't know. The average person doesn't know.
Yeah.
So you want to keep it conversational and light, and in a way that's not gonna make them feel like you're droning on and on and on. And also putting in little anecdotes and little details, something that's gonna not just answer their question in a very general way, but something that's going to give them more depth and say, hey, this is a actual source that I'm going to come back to in the future.
Yeah. And you guys do a really amazing job with that because, yeah, no doubt. We get, I mean, Brock, I was talking with him last week. He's like, dude, it's insane the amount of calls that we get from out of state, like multiple states away.
Yeah, that's wild.
People asking us to consult on a roofing project.
Yeah.
And it comes and we'll look and there's like a 17-minute call from a blog post, like all about metal roofing, right? So, I mean, it's a testament to what you guys are doing. So great job. Keep up the good work. Appreciate you. Real MVPs. When we're taking on a website or you're visiting other contractors' websites, what's a common error that you see in their approach to, whether it's on website content or specifically in the blog? Is there 1, 2, or 3 things that you typically see where it's like, okay, this is a pervasive issue that roofing companies have?
Definitely, again, the language. So again, we're in an industry that I understand you might know what you're talking about. You are very knowledgeable about roofing, right? That's good. People want to see that.
Yeah.
But again, the average person doesn't know typical roofing terms like EPDM, TPO. They don't know what that means. I didn't know what that means when I started this job.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of people on their websites using terms and terminology that is going to make people click off your website because they have to go Google what that means. There's no further description. There's no further, it's just like, oh, you want a TPO roof? Well, here it is. Why do they want that? What are the benefits of it?
Right.
You want to give a little bit more context to pull people in. And sometimes there's nothing there to pull people in. It's just, hey, want a new roof? I can help you with that, but nothing else.
That's a good point.
Why do they want that roof? So you want to hit people's pain points, especially if there's something going on in terms of weather. I think if you're not taking advantage of the situations that's going around in your community, that's going around you, you're missing out on a huge thing. So one of the things we target a lot is weather. So if there's a hurricane, if there's a tornado, things like that, you want to make sure you're hitting those breaking news moments to pull people into your website. If you're not doing that, you're missing out on a whole group of people.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice, and getting ahead of it too, right? Like if we know that hurricane season traditionally starts in September down in Florida, and you're in Florida, write something preemptively as far as like, hey, how can you prep your house for a hurricane?
Yeah.
Like I've seen that content go out, and I'm like, yeah, I'm so proud of you guys. And just make sure, like situationally, it makes sense, because you'll see, like let's say roof shoveling content go out in May.
Yeah.
And, when I see this, when prospects come to us, I always scan their website. I'm taking a look, I'm doing an analysis. And I'm like, well, this is really good content, but why would you put out in May when all the snow's gone?
Yeah.
Don't you think people might be searching for that like 6 months ago? That would have been great to have there for them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So in context is important. I think it's really hard when you're super knowledgeable about something.
Oh, 100%.
To be able to divorce yourself from that wisdom and remember what it was like before you knew all those things.
Yes.
So I think that be cognizant of that. And it's not just in creating your website content or video content. Salespeople, I think, can be guilty of this a lot. Anyone who's talked to me, I'm probably guilty of this more than anyone else. When we start talking about websites, SEO, Google Ads, I have to take a step back when we're talking terminology, because you know what? I'm like, I think to myself, he has no idea what I'm fucking talking about right now. Okay, so it's like this. Right?
Yeah. You got to break it down. Yeah.
Yeah. So really good stuff. Really good stuff. So what measures are taken to balance providing valuable, informative content and not making it feel super mundane? Like you said, we're talking about roofing, right? And roofing is not the sexiest thing to talk about. It's not the most exciting, exhilarating, clickbaity thing, right? So how do we create that experience for a homeowner where they don't dread going to the next line of content?
Oh yeah, I mean, again, it has to do with making it conversational, not just talking about the basics. You need to make them feel like they can trust you, that you're super knowledgeable, that you're someone that's welcoming and that's going to help them. And a lot of our content, we push that our clients are very customer centric focused, because they are.
Yeah.
So making people feel comfortable right off the bat, and making them feel that you're coming from the same place that they are, that you're coming from a place of wanting to help them. If our content's not doing that, they're not going to really gravitate towards that. That question kind of goes along with, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to knock that. That question goes along with the whole being conversational and not letting your language get away from you, knowing your audience.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. How has AI changed the landscape of, content creation?
It's changed a lot. Even in the 2 years that I've been here, there's been a lot of changes that have gone on with it. I think there are both good and bad things to it. The good thing is that if you're someone who's putting out content and you're not necessarily English savvy or someone that's good at writing, it can help you. It can give you a launching pad to go off of. It can also, I think in today's age, we have shorter term memory now, or we just have a shorter attention span. People don't want to really stay on content for that long. So AI has been really great at being able to condense really harder topics and make it more understandable for people, and to keep their concentration on your content instead of just wanting to jump off. The bad of it, though, is that even though it can put out content really fast, it can help you if you're not so great at writing. You also have to be cognizant of the fact that it is still a computer, it is still a robot, and there is a choppiness to it if you're not going back and looking at the sentence structures, things like that. Yeah. So what I mean by that is if you go to read content, it's going to sound robotic. And I think that's a problem for a lot of people too. I know as a consumer, if I go onto a website and I read something and maybe it makes sense, but the sentences are short, I can kind of tell that this sounds very robotic. This doesn't sound like a human wrote it. And that's going to make me think, okay, if a human didn't really write this or put any effort into this, are they going to put any effort into helping me? Am I going to get a human to actually help me with my problems? And that might make me actually leave that site and go somewhere else. So I think it's really important that if you're using AI, you need to make sure that there is you in there. There's a human element to it, that you're going back and you're putting yourself into the content. If you mess up and misspell a few words, that's okay. That's the human in you. And that's better than just content that is going to make people feel like there's no heart to it and there's nothing there.
Yeah, I like what you said there as far as relating your experience on the website and forecasting what the experience with the product, service, or what have you would be. I think that's something that a lot of people should pay attention to when they're creating content, for sure.
And I think another issue too is you want to make sure it's accurate. AI is not the most accurate in some places. So if you're putting out content and you want so I've seen it with AI, if you want to put out content about commercial roofing, a lot of times AI content is throwing in shingles and residential stuff into the commercial roofing content. Right. So you have to be careful of that and making sure everything is accurate.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of egregious misses with AI, and it's just once throwing it. Like check what it's talking about. And because if you're talking about commercial roofing, some people lump in like multifamily apartment complexes, right? And if that's the case, that's fine. But if you're specifically talking about TPO, EPDM, mod bit, and it's throwing shingle content into there. The thing about impressions are super important. First impression, second impression, third impression. And a lot of the times, let's say you write a piece of content with AI, you don't do any types of checks on the content it's putting out. Now let's say hey, it worked out well, we're ranking number 1. That can easily dissuade a ton of people from doing business with you if the content is factually incorrect, because most people are going to more than one place, or they might have our customers or our prospects to reach out, some of them don't know much about marketing and advertising online, but some of them know a lot about it. And if I started saying things that were just, consensus incorrect, they'd be like, I probably don't trust Mike to handle my campaign. And it's the same thing that the homeowners, when they're coming to your website, if you've got things that are obviously factually incorrect, that could just as easily dissuade somebody and be counterproductive to what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, and you don't want your competition either to see that on your website and point it out to.
Oh, you're considering ABC Roofing? Okay, yeah, check this out. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that I wouldn't trust them, but that's sus.
Yeah,
that's a really good point. So if there's one thing, like let's say I'm a roofing company and I'm using AI to create all my content, what's one thing that I need to do consistently before I put my content out? Before I publish it?
Reread it. Reread it.
And that's probably going to dovetail into a few more things. Yeah, right?
Reread it. Go through it and make sure that it sounds like you. Like it's something that you would say. Again, you're the expert. Like our clients are the experts at roofing. They know what they're talking about. And AI will be able to help you get that message out. But make sure it sounds like you. If you're someone that has a certain way of speaking, put that cadence into your writing and put it in there, and it'll come through. And I know what's great about a lot of our clients is that they are so focused on helping our customers succeed and get the best of what they can.
Yeah.
And I love to put that through our writing as well. I think people can tell when someone wants to help you. Yeah. So make sure that that's in there as well. And also just so be authentic and know who you're talking to. Know what your community around you, again, is looking for and put that into your writing. If there's been a recent storm, go through, put that into the AI, reread it and make sure that it's in there and that you're hitting all those pain points.
Yeah, super smart. What are some of the biggest challenges you see in the content creation space as it relates to developing like website, blog content over the next couple of years?
I think with the advent of AI and with the ability to put content out super fast, I think there's going to be issue with oversaturation a little bit. However, what I think we're great at here is, like we just said, using the AI in such a way, if we need to, that isn't just doing generalized things. The people that are putting out AI content at such a fast rate and oversaturating the market, it's pushing down other people. However, you want help in that area that's going to bring you up amongst that mass.
Yeah.
And so doing all the things we talked about here today, I think gives you that advantage to get above it, because oversaturation is going to be a serious, serious issue.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There's a ton of people that, I see on social media pushing like, I just saw a post this morning. I created 4,300 blog posts in the last week and got X amount of traffic to my site. Google cares about user experience. They want helpful content that solves people's problems, because if you solve somebody's problem, you're more likely to come back to Google as opposed to using ChatGPT for a search engine, or TikTok if it's not banned, or whatever the next up and coming search engine that takes away market share from Google is. So they have a vested interest in providing you results that actually satiate your appetite for whatever it is you want to know.
Yeah.
Because then they can charge you more per click on Google when you want to run ads to get exposure for more things. See how that works? And you're absolutely right. If, content, I want to find a study to see over the last, since like ChatGPT's launch, what is the cadence of published content on the internet? How much has it increased? Because I would imagine it is exponential.
Oh, 100%.
Which could make it harder to rank, but it could also make it easier to rank as well.
That's what I'm saying. It can make it easier to rank when your content is standing out among the masses of content that's not reading well or not helping people and giving that user experience.
Yeah, or just recycled, where it's pulling a chunk from this website, a chunk from this website. Maybe it's plagiarized, maybe it's incorrect, maybe it isn't, maybe it is. There's so many different factors. Like when you have a well put together content creation process, and I hear people like, I just use, type this prompt into AI and, you know, it's going to be great and you can publish a blog a day. It's like, well, none of that matters if the shit doesn't make it to Google search engine result page, never gets indexed. It's interesting.
It is.
What a time to be alive.
Right. And I think too, that is another issue with AI is you want to utilize keywords and AI is not necessarily thinking about that. So if you want to rank, you got to utilize that yourself and put that into your writing.
Yeah. Listen to her. I mean, she knows what she's talking about. I'm just like the prime minister here, right? I'm just like a ceremonial role. I don't do anything. These are the folks doing all the things to get the great results. So couldn't be more grateful for what you've done for all of our clients and for the future clients. And I appreciate you sharing some of your time with me this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.